Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. David Nair on air, all the way from down under Brisbane, Australia. I understand, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of audiences from different countries, ranging from obviously Australia, India are the two prime areas. Then from there into countries like South Africa, UAE, UK, US, and Southeast Asia. I welcome each one of you to this show. If you do have any questions and we don't have the chance to answer your questions straight up, please do not hesitate to send us a message, either direct message us on our mobile for some of you who have it. For others who don't, you can email at admin@davidnair.net. I repeat that, admin@davidnair.net. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't take much time in going through the peripherals of it. We had episode 1 last week. I just want both Sweta and Gemini to provide us with 2 very quick snippets so we can carry on from there. Sweta, your quick background and why are you where you are today?
Hi, thank you, David. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
My introduction is very quick, actually. I'm a personal brand and legacy creation coach, and I particularly chose this niche because I come with the background of marketing, branding, PR. So I knew exactly what goes right and wrong for any working professional or a business entrepreneur to make or break it. So knowing all the mistakes, knowing all the strengths and how to turn your weaknesses into your strengths, how to convert your business into good sales, how to market it well, how to create a brand around yourself so that your product or services can sustain better and take a leverage from your credibility rather. And that's how it builds up not just a strong brand, but you end up creating a legacy. So doing more meaningful work or creating more meaning out of what you do, that's what I, wish to do with all my audiences, with people who get coaching from me. And I thought this is the least what I could do because I have established myself. Now it's time for me to give back to society, to make other people learn and not to go through the struggles, or at least make it a little easier for them in their journey of becoming successful, getting name, fame, and money. It's for all. We want to claim it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me pass the ball on to Gemini, your perspective on that.
So Shweta just stole my heart by saying everything that I love. And over and about that, you know what, David, I just want to say to all the world audience that today I heard about the sad demise of Lata Mangeshkar. Somebody I was born hearing, and maybe so she is a true example of a legend. She's going to be there for thousands of years in the hearts of people. And when I was a fashion designer, I have 30 plus year experience as a global entrepreneur and 8.5 years of coaching under the world's best mentor I've learned from Mr. Afeen Khan. I realized that am I going to create that kind of a legacy? That's my hunger, to create something and leave behind so that tons and tons of people can. So I do very simple coaching for women entrepreneurs, put them among masterminds like Shweta, I have a mastermind which is powerful. So I founded this mastermind, Extreme Growth Mastermind, and currently it's my new baby. So I'm all passionate about helping women become financially stronger. So everything that Shweta said, definitely that has to be applied. And a little bit of love and support can really take them further. So that's what I do nowadays.
Fabulous. Wow. Thank you. And the host today, ladies and gentlemen, his name is David Nair, as most of you would have known, comes from a background of being so shy that he used to hide under his mother's petticoat. I know Sweta is wearing a sari and there's a petticoat there. And I used to hide under my mother's petticoat. That's how lacking in confidence I was. Now, from that transition right through to about 12 years ago, I had the privilege of addressing an audience of 45,000 open air at Gurgaon. Now, that is a journey. As an entrepreneur, you take risks. As an entrepreneur, you do certain things that normal average person is holding back on for fear factor or whatever the reasons. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a snippet here. This show that you're seeing is going to snowball into something greater for the audience as we roll into the months of February and March. Look out for what's going to happen in the social media from the three of us that's going to showcase something that is going to be such a huge doozer for you guys. All right, that's the end of what I'm going to promote now, but let me get into the real entrepreneurial questions that I have for both of you two ladies, and I'll put in my input into that. When you first decided to become an entrepreneur, what were some of the anxiety feelings that you had inside of you? First and foremost, before I come down to asking you your entrepreneur work.
So Shweta, are you going first?
No, you can go.
Okay. Okay, let's fix the order so we are not confused who's speaking first. Otherwise, we all can't
Yeah, I
stop
think
talking.
both of us are waiting.
Yeah. So, David, the first thing that I had an anxiety over was I was living a very lavish lifestyle as working for big companies and getting all my, money coming every month. So the first anxiety was when I invested my hard-earned 40,000 of 8 years of working into my business. I was like, God, let this become 41, let it not go to 39K. So all I was looking was not to lose money for the first 1 year. And I never had any touchwood customer or client issues because I already had a lot of people asking me for work. I used to work and I used to freelance. So I already had my, setup. But my first fear in my head was I'm putting my 40,000. It's everything I have. It should not become 39. It should be 41. And as you know, David, in 10 years later, I had 130 crores and I don't even know how many zeros that requires. But yes, that's the beauty of just doing what you passionately love,
Yeah.
So yeah, the anxiety was if I put in money, I should not lose money.
Fabulous. And yourself, Sweta?
Well, in my case, I think it's been a little different. First of all, coming from a family wherein half of them were doing jobs, either for government or for the private sector, mostly for the government, and half of them doing absolutely pure business. So I had seen and known the mindset of both. And I was more inclined towards business. So my mindset was more like, even if I worked for someone, I worked with the thinking pattern that what if this is my own business? How will I run it? So I believe a lot goes in your thinking, in your mindset. So my mindset always had one thing very clear, and probably seeing from the family or people around me, I'm a very good observer of people, their behavior, what they do, how they do, why do they do it. So I knew that to make money, you don't just need money. If you don't have money, how will you make money? What you need is a good idea. And then strive for how to implement that idea. And I did learn it from a very good friend of mine, Namita Vasudeva. She was my senior manager when I was working for Katia. She told me, she said, if you want to become a good and successful business person, you don't really have to put in all your money. She said, you have to know how to implement that idea. And that was amazing piece of information. And I love gathering information and churning it into like taking the juices out and just keep the knowledge with me and just discard rest of the information. I don't need it. So just like how you digest your food. So I learned a lot from the people whom I worked with or worked for. And I realized that yes, with money, you can multiply money. You can do it like many folds, no end to it. But yes, in case if you have lesser money, work on your idea. It has to be, there has to be a strong idea backing your ventures or your dreams, I would say. That dream has to be like really, really, call it obnoxious, call it really a wild dream, crazy dream, whatever you want to call it. Once you believe in it, definitely give your 100% and find ways, and find more than definitely one or two ways to implement it. Brainstorm.
So beautiful,
That's
beautiful.
great for
David,
me.
David,
That,
David, I want to
yeah,
share one more thing. I want to share
please.
one more thing. Yeah.
Yep.
What Shweta said really made sense. And 25 years back when I started my business, because I already worked for around 8 years or so, maybe around 23 years back, I had no clue how to do your own business. I did handle other person's business. I was a manager, had department, did everything. But I didn't have a mentor or somebody who I could look up to. I didn't idealize anybody. It was just me, my crazy mind, my crazy ideas about design. And fortunately, I got in a partner who was money minded, who knew how to do marketing, my life partner as well. And then it was a good combination. So I believe that if you are good, like Shweta said, with your ideas and your creativity,
Implement it. Mm.
get a my mentor
Hmm.
so that you don't have to share your profit, or get a partner and work as a team. I think that is a lot of people don't have some insights into business. So if they take an experienced person and work with them, provided they are aligned, or they take up a mentor who walks the talk, that
Hmm.
completely
Absolutely.
changes. That
Makes
completely
your life
changes
much
everything.
easier, Gemini. No doubt to
I
it.
think
I
it is
know
it
this.
is it is
Yeah.
a guaranteed success that you can
Yes.
think in your mind. Yes, I can get a
So,
guaranteed success.
It's so
so
interesting you're
true.
sharing
So
that, and then
true.
I'm here. I'm so eager to share my part, whether I have time or not. But I got to take 3 minutes. I'm going to take 3 minutes to share this little story, so you can get a feel for this.
Yes.
Both my parents wanted me to become a what I call a doctor, one of those guys that went and cut people up and all of that. I hated it, so they shipped me to Australia. And one thing that happened, I never even thought about business. Never even thought about business. But it's the people that you hang out with that really makes or breaks you. And I used to come out of college every weekend and go to this person's home called Uncle John, who was my classmate's dad. And all I could hear him talk about, like what you guys were talking, was finance, because he's a finance guy. He used to do property development and stuff like that. And mind you, I'm about 15, 16 years old now, right? And I hear him about talking about banking and stuff. See, that's the naivety that you have to have when you get into entrepreneurship, I'm thinking. Because I didn't know anything about banking. All I could hear was this guy talking about it. So one day I plucked up enough courage. At 16 years old, I walked to a bank and I knocked on the banker's door, and the guy calls me in and he said, "Can I help you, son?" Okay. And I thought, okay, you're not my father, but you can call me son. And I walk into his office. He sits me down. As he moves away, he says this one thing. He says, "Would you like a glass of milk?" And I thought, oh my God, I have to pay for it. I don't have money. And I said, no, thank you. Because that's how naive you are. Okay? That naive kid sat there and asked his bank manager this question. He said, "What are you here for?" I said, "I want to borrow money." At 15, 16. And he said, "Really? What for?" "I want to buy a house." Because I could hear Uncle John talking about property development. That was my first entrepreneurial trip. I won't go into the details. You can read my book for that. But that was a kickstart. I never had anything. But when I came home, I told that to my Uncle John. You talk about a mentor, Germany? I told that to my Uncle John, and guess what he said? "You want to make money? Are you really passionate about it?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, I want you to now create what I call an awareness, to open up your eyesight." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow." And he took me out for a drive about 3 kilometers from his house, and he parked me there and he said, "Walk back home. I want you to just see what's on." I walked back home. And he said, "What did you see?" And I said, "I saw nothing, Uncle. I saw just people coming back from work and stuff like that, dogs barking, milkman coming and going." He said, "You didn't see anything?" He said, "No." "Do you see a business opportunity that can help your distribution?" What? See, Facebook was not in existence, okay? And you know what he told me? He said, "Have you seen anything?" I said, "No." He said, "The guys have dropped milk." "Yeah, what do you want me to do with them?" And he said, "Very simple. You want to go and start a business. You want a distribution channel. Now we're going to set the two up together." I said, "How?" He said, "You're happy to work? I want you to start cutting grass." That was my first entrepreneurial business. One lawnmower to build up a bank balance, got the milkman to do my distribution Facebook campaigns, and through that, I built up about $60,000 in asset by selling that lawn mowing business 18 months downstream, because Uncle John was my mentor. You said a mentor, right? Uncle John was my mentor and guided me, put money in the bank for me to go and buy my first property, of which we renovated it, and then we duplicated our property system.
Awesome. Super.
Now, that's just to
Very
share and say this is exactly what entrepreneurship is. You have to have in your guts a passion to come up. G-U-T-S.
Guts.
The genuine urge to succeed. G-U-T-S. Thank you so much, ladies. Continue again.
That was powerful, David. I want to hear more stories. We should catch
No.
up.
Go read my book. That's 68 stories in that book. Being a reformer, I know how many stories are there.
Oh my God.
Okay, next question, ladies. What were some of the resources you had to pull in that state that you're in to get some clarity? How did you go about? Did you have everything available, or did you have to go hunt and dig and search for it?
So David, with me it was very different, because for my first day to job, or even before I got into job, I used to design small jewelry and give it for exhibitions. When I was free at home, I used to tape up all the leftover beads and I used to create danglers and I used to give. So I had already done all these small things, and then I was working for a company. In that company, I handled everything. But while I was handling the company, on the side, I used to design for a freelance, so I was making money in two parts. I saw my dad as an architect that he was doing a job, and he used to come home, and in the night he used to make his plans, and there used to be this ammonia machines below our bed. We used to pull it out and we used to help him make the printouts. And so I saw my dad doing two things at a time, and I realized today that it had an impact on me. So when I started my work, for security I did a job, and for the multiplication I did a part-time freelancing thing. I taught in institutes. I was doing a lot. So by the time I started my business, I had already built my client base. I already knew what I wanted to sell. I was good at high fashion. I used to make exhibition clothing for a lot of people. So along with my job, I was doing a lot of free things. So then I took away the job, took those 8 hours, divided them into 4 hours, and I was working 4 hours a day and making 3 times the money that I was making in a job. Of course, when I was doing this, I was meeting a lot of people, and fortunately, I would say fortunately, but looking back, that I met my husband that time, who started working with me in my business, and we together handled one department, and the rest is history. So I'd like to add one thing. When I started doing my first course for coaching with Arfi, I had no clue. I was lost, I was unhappy, I was depressed, whatever you say, I was going through all the tough things. But one thing was exciting me, is that I have a future and I'm going to do something new. Like this Extreme Growth Mastermind is my new baby. So I'm applying anything and everything, putting like 200% of my effort to get results for my client. So they are happy, but I have to be happy within. So then after 23 years of working and having a lot of money, I decided to work for pleasure. So now when I work with my client, is it the excitement of leaving behind a legacy? So it completely shifts, the tension becomes the pleasure, the stress becomes happiness. So I've seen this shift in both my businesses. The last, what I did as a fashion designer, and now it has become effortless because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Not in terms of I didn't enjoy fashion, but the kind of transformation you can give somebody, that's more deeper than giving them a good outfit to wear or making them look beautiful. So I think I got more deeper spiritual myself, and now I can think from within, in a better form. So everything is not money, profit, money, profit. If there is a challenge, I've done so much challenge breaking earlier. So now it's like, okay, one more thing, let's do it. So it's like a completely, what you can say, completely different perception of business for me now.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is, as you become a seasoned entrepreneur, through that course of going, certain things unfold. And like, I was just observing Suwaita when she first came in, or before I even started the show. She was cool, calm, collected. Entrepreneurs, when they start business, are not like that. Okay.
True.
If you see a duck in a pond, the duck might be serene, but the legs are paddling like hell. So, so Suwaita, what
Completely
is
agree.
your perspective? Were you as cool, calm, and collected when you got into business then?
I've always been like this, like the duck, exactly how you explained. So I am absolutely calm and poised on surface, and inside there is so much. The churning is happening, and like so much of like the rust is happening, and I'm like getting panic, and like sometimes I'm getting like running, like no, can you just like I'm like very quick with the time. I'm not that patient when someone takes too long to finish something, whether it is work or communication or anything. So I'm not a person who can chit chat, who can talk for too long. If you're sitting in front of me, yes, if it is a discussion, if it is an exchange of ideas, face to face, yes, I can be doing it for hours, but otherwise, no. So for me, it was more about how to get out of that mold of just being fixed at a place. So I used to shift my job. One thing very quickly in my life, that you do not grow the way I wanted to grow, just like this. You have to be honest, you have to be ready to work really hard, but you cannot be stagnant at a place and expect that exponential growth to happen. You will
Exactly.
have to break that traditional mold. So I did a lot of trainings. I learned. I mean, I attended a lot of trainings. I was always keen, whether I was working for 15 days, 1 month, 3 months, didn't matter. The moment I would see a chance of learning something better than what I was, which could improvise my level of my skills, however I could improve, I would jump on it. And I was ready to learn everything in this world, because coming from that, protected family atmosphere, once I was out, I was very sure that I wanted to be a working woman,
Hmm.
not just to earn the bread and butter, but just that was me myself. I wanted to do something. I wasn't. I'm still not a person who feels that okay, I have enough money, I can survive, I can just relax, chill, take back seat and enjoy the life. For me, enjoyment is my work. Every day doing something new, doing something more than what I did yesterday. That's the drive that I have. I think that's what made me grow. And uh, so again, it was that same thing, that mindset that I need to do something better than what I did yesterday. So learning from your mistakes, learning from the mistakes of others, that's what gave me drive. And money part, David, where I started off, I think when I lost my father, we lost everything and we had nothing.
Hmm.
All we did was we asked our friends, give, do not give us money. What we want is work. Same thing when I restarted my life as a mother of two children with no one to support me. And that's again, it was the same thing which I told my friends. What I need is work. Just get me a meeting, just get me an interview. I know how to secure my job because
Hmm.
I'm ready to work. When you have the drive, even your employer can see that. And I
Hmm.
was very sure going through the hurdles of working for people and seeing unethical ways of people working and exploiting their employees. I was very sure that I'm not going to be in this situation again. So I worked quickly to, and this time, the second inning of my life, I would say, the very first inning, I struggled. Wish I had a mentor, wish I had someone to guide me. It would have saved many years of my life. That's why I tell people jump. If you find a mentor, just jump. leave everything you have and put all the resources that are required to attain and to keep that mentor with you, so that you don't have to fall back again ever in your life. Be it for simple budgeting. I was earning too much, still not saving, or losing my savings, not increasing my money because I didn't know how to manage my finances. I spent maximum time and maximum uh, time to study or to learn from people who knew how to manage finances better. That is why today I can be, I sit among financial coaches and we can plan things, because I learned it. But wish it was not that hard. So I learned how to manage money, how to make money, how to save your ideas, how to make them work for you. So bit of saving, not enough, but just that to sustain myself for a month or two or three, and that's it. So you have to be smart or you have to get coached. I would say that saves your energy and time. That's
Right. See,
the best. Yes,
the
not
key thing that's coming through is we all went into something with one expectation. We wanted an outcome. We had a passion for it, right? Now, how did you fuel that passion continuously? Because I can tell you, in an entrepreneurial journey, it is not going to be a straight line like you were pointing the hand going up like that. It wasn't going to be a straight line. It's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down, like a sine curve. How did you manage the peaks and troughs, Gemini?
So David, you know what? If I talk about my journey 25 years back, it is something that happened on its own, right? You come across a challenge, you have two choices: to break through or break down. So a lot of challenges gave me stress, anxiety, anger issues, diabetes, blood pressure in my last journey as an entrepreneur. I stood strong. I fought everything. I managed everything, including the problems at home, the problems at work, the problems with employees. Since I was just thinking when Shweta was talking, that was I a good employer? I was just thinking when she was talking, I've got people who still connect with me from last 20 years of my work as a boss or whatever I was. But I realized that I was an angry person. My job used to be done, but it used to be done at the cost of my health, my anger, and I got into that habit of yelling and screaming and getting my work done. So I was a tough taskmaster. Now that I got coached and I understood who I was, I learned better ways to handle challenges, asking the right questions, reaching out to the right people, and having an amazing set of mindset. People who impacted my mindset had to be really important. I still have distanced myself from people who have a negative impact on they are in my life. Okay.
Right.
They are there for me, they've stood for me, but I have distanced myself from them. I'm there for them when they need me, but they are not my day-to-day buddies where I talk to them. I consciously take an effort to bring back my mastermind so that my ideas and thoughts are protected. That's very important for me. First thing. Secondly, whenever I come across a challenge, with God's grace, I've gone through so many challenges that now I have the confidence, no matter what, I can break through. So the self-belief has changed. Okay, the thought process, the self-belief has changed, and then I'm on a mission. So the final goal, the big picture is there. So whether I break a leg or I injure my back or I'm down with viral, the final goal is, so I have decided to shoot a video program after waiting for 4 weeks that my voice is going to get better. But since I keep abusing my voice by being on shows and keynotes and my masterminds, it refuses to settle down. So it's my responsibility. But I decided that no matter what my voice is, I'm going to shoot a video program in the coming week because I have limited time before my mom comes and stays with me and I need to take care. So what happens is, I'm always thinking about the big picture, what I want to achieve. So the small hurdles are just hurdles, and once you've decided you have to break through, you will find ways. It may take more time, it may take less time, it may be simple, it may be tough. Sometimes emotionally it's very traumatizing, but then I have my mastermind to fall back on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the word. I love the word you use. Once you decide, many people find it so difficult to make that decision. Now, I never understood this concept, and I just like you, I've been so fortunate to have this many coaches to get me to where I am. I'm not
True.
just here, because of it. And as you mentioned about Lata just now, earlier that she passed away, there was another legend that has passed away, Proctor, and amazing gentleman. He was my first self developer actually, and through him I got exposed to some of the other areas. One of the things he taught, and he's a multilingual guy, so he actually not changes, but explains the definition of a word, an English word, in its true context. And the word decide comes from a Latin word, which is a two-syllable word, decry, meaning you cut and you move on. Okay, so that was the thing that stuck in my mind everywhere I went. Whenever there was something that's hanging on or a garbage that I'm dragging along, I had Proctor in my head saying, cut, move on, cut, move on. And that was the only way I could sort of keep going, because coming from an uncomfortable environment, running an entrepreneurship, and then at the same time running a business in 3 countries before I got into coaching was a huge task, but I loved it. It's a fire. What about yourself, Sumita?
I get so engrossed listening to both of you, I just forget the question itself.
I'm not going to repeat the question, okay, lady? You want me to?
Yeah, please seriously do that. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm a very visual kind of person. I'm just visualizing myself like being there
It
with
happened with
Gemini,
me also,
being
Shweta,
Gemini.
because I love listening to. Of course, we all are such amazing teammates. But when you both are talking, I'm also like, wow, I also get into visuals. David, you have 2 spaced out ladies now. You have to bring us back on track.
Hello, what have you been smoking before you come on the show? No, zip up, don't say it.
I have been drinking water.
Same here,
For my throat.
H2O. What was, just coming back, Soita, what was some of the things that really drove you when you had your ups and downs, in your sine curve? How did you balance that and task yourself out of it?
I think it's the purpose. What is, as people say, by and large, what's the purpose of your life? I'm an economics student. I love economics. So it's like the macro and then the micro. What drives you and what's the purpose? Why are you doing whatever you're doing in your life? If I get up early in the morning because I want to meditate, that's my time. If I want to sleep early, is it a sacrifice or is it something which I want to do for myself? If I'm taking care of my health, is it for somebody else or this is what I want to give to myself? Or this is a responsibility that I carry for this body, which is making me do all the work. So for me, it's the other way. It's me giving gratitude to my body being healthy.
Right.
That's not a privilege that I have. It's my responsibility because I've been given something on a silver platter. I've been given a healthy body, a healthy mind to think and move. So I should be giving something back or maintaining it well, rather, the way it has been given to me. The same thing, I think it goes on for our life as well. So coming from a very pampered, loving background, so when you're thrown in the rough circumstances of life, accept it with the same grace, with the same smile, the way you accepted your comfort. So that's one thing. And plus, I believe being raised by a very strong woman, my grandmother, my mother, it's a lot to see them doing their level best and outshining anybody around them, coming from very, what can I say, prosperous life. The way they were thrown in the circumstances wherein they not just survived, but made a mark. I had to be better. It's like how you see that, oh my God, the legacy that I'm carrying from my grandmother to my mother, I have to be better. So I had that thing of being another son to my mother. So when I didn't have father, so I wanted to be one of the sons, right? So I was very sure that I am going to be the best son, Although I have wonderful brothers, they are very loving and caring towards my mom, but I had that thing. So same thing happened when I had two kids and no father to fend for them. So I was like, I'm going to be the best parent they ever had.
Right.
Every day I'm going to make sure that they get the best of their life. So even if I'm not there tomorrow, and I live my life, David, like today is the only day and only life I have.
Yeah.
So it has to be the best moment. Forget about the day. I don't even think about the day. I plan for years, but I think it like, what if I do not have even the next moment? What happens then? So I keep my preparations, sharpened to that level. So that's, I think, living on the edge is something which drives me. Having seen all the worst days of my life, coming from being thrown out of the job with no salaries, I've seen those days as well. I've seen ruthless employers. I have seen bad competitors. I have really fallen very deeply, very badly, getting wounded in life so badly that it has made me a better person, more loving, more empathetic. And that's what I think at times for a very gentle person like me needed. We can say like that. But yes, I've learned a lot, and I've learned how to be careful, how to walk smarter, how to be a better person, and thinking about giving value to others and not hurting others. So once you have your intent correct and your actions speak for your intent, that's what make your life super cool and calm, like a duck. It doesn't have
Right.
that's more like a musical video. That's like a
You're going to
dance.
keep that anchor of the duck from now on. I really recall this. Hey, I just want to get a feel. I want the audience to get a feel of, you have your back to the wall. You started your business, it's going, you got your back to the wall, and every so often you're looking at it and saying, there's these challenges. Will I give up? Has that ever occurred to you in the course of it? Be very honest.
I think giving up has not. Sorry, Jem.
Go ahead, Shweta.
I think for me it was like the giving up has not been a choice. It's
You
not
had no
a choice.
choice. Yeah, two
You
kids.
just cannot. See, it's like asking any father or any mother that will you let your child go to bed without food? No, it's not a choice. So when you don't give yourself that choice, you are bound to bounce back, no matter how hard life, hits you or anything. You are bound to. You see, humans, how did they reach to Mars or to Moon? We are that kind of creature. We are not going to, get bounded by anybody. We are going to bounce back. So just believe in yourself and just say, I do not give up. See, if you don't give up, who can make you give up?
Exactly.
When I used to attend Osho's retreats, so he said, the enemy can only fight with you as long as you're ready to fight. If you say, I don't want to fight, okay, well, do whatever you want to do.
We can't.
So
Exactly.
we can't do anything,
Yeah.
So it's like if you say that I am not going to, get bogged down and keep on staying on, under your foot, I am going to bounce back. No one can stop you. It is only you who can stop yourself. No one else. In this world, no one. That's what I believe.
Good. Fabulous. Yourself, Jem.
So whatever she said, of course, I agree, and it's after a couple of years that I've got that kind of a courage. When I lost everything in my business, in the sense that one day morning I woke up, and one day ahead I was at my office with hundreds of karigars and lots of money and everything. But emotionally, when my marriage broke down and when I left my company, and actually I was in a rented apartment with maybe 10% of the facilities that I have in my house, the luxury, and I'm looking at both my children, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, crying and all distorted, and I look at myself and say, it's over. It's over. I can't do anything now. I worked so many years. I worked hard. I've been working for maybe around 16 years by that time, day and night, doing night shifts and earning the money. And suddenly everything seems blank. I don't have anything. And I'm sharing this because I have a lot of women who work with me who are entrepreneurs, mothers in their life, and they've gone through something even worse or similar. So, whenever something like that hits you, it's your emotional strength and who you are talking to that brings you back.
Yeah.
It's very important, David, because it's good to be strong, it's good to be amazing, it's good to, not give up. But there is a moment in your life where you feel it's over. And when you talk to the right person, not somebody's shoulder where you can go and cry on somebody who will give you the right picture, like not be compassionate to you, yet give you the right picture. So that happened to me. I wanted to give up my life the night, I broke down. I had a mental breakdown. I was taken to a doctor, and I received some nasty messages from my husband. I forgive him, and I understand his point of view. Maybe he didn't like me, or he was angry that, I created a big hoo-ha about what was happening, which could have been private, my mistake, or maybe my strength that I could speak up. So I had lost everything. I was on the verge of giving up everything. I didn't want the money, I didn't want the children, I didn't want my life. And then I look at my children and say, is this what I want to leave behind in their mindset? That their mother left them, their mother broke down, and that little smile on my child's face when I saw that he was sleeping, I said, no, I will not touch any negative thing, touch my child till I'm alive. And David, I'm ready to live for another 20 years, 30 years and be an inspiration, not to the world, to my children. Because for me, my mother is everything. Over and above everything I earn, I want to be a great mother. And that's my big picture. I want my children to look back and say, oh my God, I can't even think of giving up. If this lady didn't give up, I should not give up. So that's are the two people I'm alive for and I want to work for. So yes, a thought of giving up comes to a lot of people, a lot of women I work with. Just a shift of perception and the right advice, or you can say suggestion, decision they have to make. I think that changes everything, and it changed for me. I want to publicly thank my brother Bhavyan Shah. He was the only one who said, Didi, when you made your first sketch, did you know you'll make 130 crores in your life? I said, no. And he said, what makes you think that when you get into coaching, you won't make it big? So just to respect his thought and respect for me, I never give up.
Right.
Lovely.
You see, that's powerful. You see, most people don't realize this thing that we have got inside of us. And I think it's in one of the quotes of my book that I wrote out. Do not speak bad about yourself. So whenever something like that happens, the first thing we go into is this self-incriminating language. So it says in here, very simple, that I'm combining Afeen Khan, I'm combining Tony Robbins, and I'm also combining Proctor in this particular quote. And it's amazing. It always stuck with me. Do not speak bad about yourself. The second thing, as Tony always points out, inside of you, there is a warrior. That warrior is listening to those words.
True.
And that warrior can either make you or break you.
So true.
So where do you stop on that? Which is the aspect that you stop? Do you stop in midstream or do you stop at the start? Now we've got to train our brain, as what you always keep saying, Jem and Sweta, at the start to stop that language. Stop those discriminating down language that we put on ourselves. And unfortunately, there's been a creature of habit for human beings to do that. So entrepreneurship is about closing that gate at the start. Thank you.
So true. Amazing. Yeah, thank you. And I think in addition to what Jem said, that how being inspired by your children or anything that inspires you in your life. Also, I also think about, because those were the moments when I said, like, okay, what if people used to leave everything, just let everything go. You just go and live your life, or just give up everything. And I used to think, like, okay, for a minute, let's just think if I give up, whether I give up my life or whether I give up whatever, you know, what will happen after that? So the same thing goes when we go in for like, little pleasure in our life. Okay, let me just do it. Let me just cheat a bit. And okay, not thinking about the pounds that you're going to gain later on. Or, in your examination, okay, let me just copy a little bit. What will happen if you get caught? So when you start thinking about the consequences and also the outcomes of whatever action that you are taking, even in your mind, first in your actions and before that in your mind, I think you start changing. Your thinking pattern changes forever, because then you know that even by thinking that, I remember Osho said, even if you've thought, you've committed the crime.
Yes.
Even if in your thoughts you have killed someone, you have actually committed that crime. So think before you even think of cheating someone or doing anything wrong, which is not right for you. So that's it. So I think that also gives enough drive to us in our life.
Yeah. So
David,
that's why if you look at sorry, go on, Jem.
David, one minute I'll take. There is an entrepreneur with me, and she's in a lot of debt. In a debt that if you see the number, you want to give up right now. I can't do it. I cannot do it. The first thing that we did with her was change, reframe that I cannot do it to I'm working towards giving my debt. Okay. Then comes what are the actions what are the patterns that need to be broken, because people who get into debt for business or reasons keep building up the debt. You never see them out of debt. They are like taking one loan to fill the other one, and then they come a dead end when they don't get any loans. So there is a pattern to be broken. There is a mindset to be changed. There is a self-talk that needs to be changed. And then comes the action part. So every penny she earns, she puts aside at least 10 to 20% towards debt. Now, if that person starts today, after 5 years, she must have paid the interest, she must have paid a part of the debt, and the stress has gone down, the self belief has gone up, therefore, attracting more collaborations, more opportunities, getting in a great environment. So, I believe, that what you, me, and Shweta have learned and understood is magical, is life saving for ourselves as well as others. So, when you are an entrepreneur, there are n number of challenges. Are you going to give up at the drop of a hat, or you're going to finish the race? Are you going to show your family and children that you are a loser, or you can't do it, or you should give up in life? Or are you somebody who wants to just pick up everything, pick everybody with you and take them to the finish line? I think in entrepreneurship, you should be ready for hardships, but it can also be really smooth and rewarding, I believe.
Very true, very true. And the foundation to all of that obviously comes to our base core values. And as you're saying, unless each of you were saying, unless we have that in place, the foundation is not going to be built. So it doesn't matter how much you superficially whitewash it and all of that, it just doesn't work.
True.
Let me just come through again on another area that's personally very close to my heart. How did you manage running a business, running a family, and having 2 kids, making sure they got up early, did the breakfast, rushed to school, How did you manage all of that? I'm gonna spend a bit of time on that. First with you, Gemini.
So I was struggling like crazy because I had 2 businesses, one export house and one brand, and everything I was the core, because design was everything. And I'm not a reformer, but when it comes to my work, I attached my identity to my work, which was a mistake earlier. But yes, I wanted everything the high fashion way. So I used to go mental at work, and when I used to come home, my maid used to say, Didi, I'm going for a holiday for 2 days, and she would not come up for 8 days. So I have used my children like a backpack. After 8 days of delivery in India, they take 1 month to recover after a baby is born.
Yes.
But after 8 days of giving birth to my child, I didn't have Zoom that time. So I used to sleep on the couch and I used to design, and my designers used to come home. So mine was a portable export house which went with me wherever I went, whether it was out of station, whether it was my house, my office. And I had created a small nursery in my office. And between 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., the office telephones were on silent. Nobody could talk loudly because my baby was sleeping and I was working. I was that kind of an employee, Shweta. However, when they grew up and they started crawling around and pulling out things, I decided to keep them home. And what I did is took help of my mother. I said, "Listen, mom, I don't want to compromise on my child's values. I want them to be raised by family members and not helps." So I got the help. I got extra help that required. I used to make good money, but I kept my children to my mother and myself. Everything that had to be nurtured, because there was a cultural gap between my in-laws and my. So, for example, India, there was a lot of clash. So my mom and me became a team until my children branched out into their own schools and started going on their own. So I had my mom support me, and today God has given me the gratitude to be able to take care of my mom. So I really understand what support is. So if you have one person to support you in your life as a business lady, that's all you need. Okay. Yeah. And if you don't have anybody, there is amazing amount of help available. So all the women who earn less, they do shortcuts. They will not employ maids. They will not have help. But the moment you don't delegate, you're stuck. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need to delegate. You need to learn to delegate. Yes, there are always solutions to each and every problem. And I decided my priority. Whether I'm making 1 crore rupee or I have to spend one night with my child because it's got fever, I chose my children. So in my mind, I made a choice. My family comes first. And believe me, my family only became my strength, and it was never a hurdle in my business. So a lot of people are deciding, family, business. I said family, support, and the business will go on its own, I think because when you are emotionally and mentally in alignment, work happens.
And that's where the clarity is vital. You need to be able to segregate that with clear mind.
Yes.
That's powerful. Sweta, yourself.
Wow. First of all, Gemini went on record saying that she invented work from home way before the COVID happened. I think as a mother, I could relate to taking my once or twice I had taken my daughter when she was very young, attended a business meet, carrying in my lap, standing, and really comforting her because I didn't want her to cry. And yes, I think there's a time when we all have to do something like that to keep those nice humorous memories in life. For me, I think I firmly believe that work and your professional and personal life has to be totally in sync. Your professional life must not suffer because of your personal commitments, and your personal life must not overlap with your professional commitments. Right. So for me, it has been, first of all, my being a disciplined person, time management has been my I think biggest forte. So I know how to manage time. So what I used to do, a lot of our audience members might be wondering what is reformer. Basically, people who are very kind of seeking perfection. They may not be the perfectionists, but seeking perfection. So those are the kind of people who are reformers. And being one of them,
stuck with two of them.
Being a reformer, I like to have control over my time, or let's just say, what can I do in this much of time? If these are the tasks that I need to finish, I love to cook for my kids. I love to be on time at my work. So how do I do that? So I segregate. I go like microeconomics. So make the sections. This is the time when you get up. This is the time when you have to finish this to this work. So make compartments, just like how old ladies used to do. They used to make packets like Lala Ji or Muneem ki Dukaan. You had those little small packets. This is for this, this is for that. Or how the HR people create salaries, right? So this much of chunk goes to this department, this much chunk goes to that department, just like that. So not the HR, sorry, accounts department. So the same way I used to create compartments for my time, I still do that. So I have to get up. That is the window, even if I get late, whatever it is. So I have to have that window. This is the time when you get up. This is the time when you do your exercise. This is the time when you do your breakfast, cook this. This is the time when you go to work. This is the time when you come back. So if you have to give more time to a place, then you compensate to the other place with the additional time. Simple. So your task has to be finished. If I have a commitment, if I am overseas and my child is sick, what I can do is I cannot fly back probably, but I can make sure that he or she gets the correct treatment and proper care as and when required. So I am very good with people management and time management. And my strength in life, I think, has been my mastermind. Mastermind is people whom I surround myself with, people whom I'm in touch with, people whom I share ideas, share my wavelength. So we all grow with each other's thinking pattern. We discuss, we do our discussions, our mantranas, as they call in Hindi. So the masterminding with the other masters, people like you or people whom you aspire to be. So that's what I think has made me learn that the key to success is keep a balance. It's a cart. One wheel is your profession, another wheel is your personal life. Keep the balance and you keep on rolling. That's it.
Oh my God, I think you and my wife and I have got the same tutor.
Also,
we got this pockets of time. But we made a decision. Both Lori and I wanted to always grow and do a business. So we made it very clear when we had Prashana, my first daughter. It was so clear that we will not carry her from place to place. It's a decision we made. So we hired, I don't know if you understand, but in Australia, to hire a full-time live-in babysitter is, but we did it.
Yeah.
We did it because it's important that the child is not destabilized.
True.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And in so doing, the key fundamental that came out of that is today, for example, I was having dinner last night with my daughter when she came home, and the key fundamental is she's so straight and consciously aware of what are the things that they have to do in life. She's dating, and before they even got married, she's already got a marriage plan laid out. and I'm just saying, this is how pakka the whole situation turns out when you have the blueprint clearly laid out. So every entrepreneur needs one of that, whether it's for time, whether it's for money, whether it's for your business. That blueprint is your roadmap.
And David, when you're working, your children are more self-reliant because they know that they have to depend on themselves and they find ways. And earlier, children used to be caretaking. Now they are my strengths. Now I please set up my Zoom. Please do this for me. So, Mom, I said, please do it for me. So now
they love it. They love it.
And they do, because now they're not independent. They're actually contributing.
True. The moment you make them charge, take charge, and I think we should publicize your name, Gemini. Take charge expert. Yes, especially for children. I think the moment you give them the charge and you tell them, "Oh, you are in charge," they love it. They feel that they have the superpower, and you become the baby, and it's like, I don't know, baby, how to do. Can you please teach me how to do it? And you have to see them, how they come across and how they become your parent, and they guide you and they teach you. It's amazing. And I think we all must learn one thing: make your children independent. People who make the biggest mistake is they think that they're pampering, they are protecting their children, but they're actually spoiling their life, because you're not making them ready for the real life. The reality is not shown to them. So that is very important.
It's so true, because a backbone becomes spineless.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So true. So I always tell my children, I said, no matter how much money I have, you're only going to inherit it if you can prove that you can take care of it.
Well, my
So if
kids
you
know
want
they're not
it,
getting anything. I'm going to spend it all.
I was going to ask you to adopt me, David, when you said I bought that property, but never mind. It's okay now.
Hey, I'm so sorry. It's cutting short. I want to get, before I probably take a couple of minutes extra. 2 points from each of you. 2 points that you can give out to the audience out there that you think would be of value to them as an entrepreneur. 2 key points. Just a bullet points would be fine.
One,
Okay.
you put me on the spot by asking me like a question where I have to bullet points. We are a long talking people. One thing is, when you want to do something, don't think about what negative will happen. Think about what best can happen out of it. Second, just build your self-belief in yourself and anything you can achieve. So how many zeros you put to your turnover depends on your belief in yourself. Everything rest is practical. You can always have people help you out.
Right. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Jem and Sweta.
thank you. For me, it's about do think of out of the box, but keep your focus on what's in the box. That means whatever resources you have, make the best out of that, and then think of doing anything out of your limitation or what you have not done. So make the best of the resources. How they say, go local, and focus on going local. That's what any business person or a working professional needs to do to become successful. Second is we all learn the art of holding on and letting go. That learn that stop loss. And in stock market, how we say, when you know that this part of the business or the career has gone wrong, learn to leave it. Learn to leave toxic relations. Learn to leave your your debts. Learn to leave anything which is not serving its purpose. Leave it. Move forward. Cut losses. Make the best of your time. If you have had a bad debt, just leave it. Move forward. You'll make better money.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Now, I didn't tell you this, but I'm going to get both of you to, in one sentence, just talk a little bit about what we had planned in the next 3 to 12 months without mentioning their name. Yeah.
Okay, so we are coming up with some amazing, exciting project which will take your entrepreneurship to the next level.
Wow. Thank you. And you buttoned yourself, Sweta.
Yes, a platform which is going to add additional value to wherever you are, whether you're stuck somewhere, whether you want to fly from where you are, and get the experts to help you grow and fly smoother.
Thank you so much. As I said at the start, this is a kickstart to helping the community at large of entrepreneurs who just want a little nudge and at the same time want some direction and purpose in their entrepreneurship journey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, audience out there, and thank you so much, Gemini, and thank you so much, Sweta. Have a great
Thank
time.
you.
Ciao.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.